Yes, I think we got some motherfucking action going. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's up with it, DJ? What's popping? We're about to get into this good old video here in 1 second. Still trying to figure out this stream yard right here, trying to get this locked in real good. But we're gonna do a reaction tonight to this video about Eric Holder. I guess this cat from Detroit said that he got he got contact with Eric Holder, and they've been going back and forth. Now, I don't know. We're gonna peep this video. I don't want to be biased to the video until we actually get into it. But one thing for sure, two things for certain. Where Eric Holder really is right now. Now, y'all see, this is California. You know what I mean? California inmate locator right here. So this right here is going to tell us where Eric Holder is at. First and foremost. So here goes Eric Holder. Here goes his DOC number. And it says he's at a California medical facility right now. That's where it says he's at right now. If we click it, give us his parole eligibility date. 2039 is when he's supposed to be eligible. It says it's pending. Now, he's at a medical facility, and I seen Cowboy in another video say that he was in Arizona at a medical facility in Arizona. And knowing what I know, being incarcerated, you know what I mean? Like you could have an interstate compact, and they can move you out of California. They can move you out of there. But I feel like he may still be in California. I wonder. It's possible he's in Arizona, but before we get into this video, this address right here, anybody could write him. Here's his, with his DOC number that we just was looking at right here, his DOC number right here, BT6505, his name. If you wrote that to this mailing address right here, PO Box 2000, he can correspond with you though. You know what I mean? He could easily correspond with you. Now, if he's out of state, it probably would be forwarded to him, but knowing what I know to a degree, you know what I mean? To a degree, I know that I know he gotta be able to make phone calls. He didn't kill the president. He killed Nipsey Hussle, and I hate to even be on that type of time, but he can make phone calls. So before we get into these videos right here, it's interesting that the cat that got this back and forth conversation with Eric Holder, right? It's interesting he ain't got the phone call. Or why not the phone call? I'm sorry. Medical facility, you're still gonna get some time to make phone calls. They ain't gonna cut you all the way off or make even in the hole. Even if you're doing time in AdSeg, you're still getting phone calls. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know why you ain't got no phone calls, but I want to be biased to the video. But first and foremost, too, before we get into this video, this ain't the first time somebody has said that they got an interview with Eric Holder. Now, by no means, there's been another cat right here. This cat right here. I don't know if y'all seen this one right here.
Nah, see, what I wanted to do, Eric, is I wanted to there's two sides to every story. Let me explain to you who I am. Like I said, you got my card. I introduced myself and what I do for our podcast. And my thing is what I wanted to do is I wanted to reach out to you because ain't nobody reaching out to you to get your side of the story on this Nipsey Hussle thing. Everybody is, how can I say it? They got you pegged as this just out cold murderous thug individual. You know what I'm saying? And don't nobody but the actual people who was there know what happened. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to tell your side of the truth of this. That's all that is.
Oh man, look with that about that, man. Audit like on the case. I'm on the case right now, so I can't really speak.
This call is being recorded.
Right. Well, that's no problem right now. We don't have to talk about that right now, but we can just chop it up, and just after the case is done, on the Nipsey Hussle situation and stuff of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to tarnish your case or what's about to come, going on. Because I know you're about to start trial this month. Am I right?
All right. Hey, I'm gonna keep your number, man. I'm gonna call you after this. Like, I'm gonna go to trial, so after trial, when I find out everything, I'm gonna hit you up and I'll let you for sure, though, bro.
All right, I'm gonna make sure I keep some money on the card because a couple of my homies been calling me and everything. So I'm gonna make sure, since I know that you in the loop and gonna hit me up, I'm gonna make sure I keep some money on this line so you can call me. You feel me?
All
right, man. I appreciate you and thanks.
All right, bro, for sure.
All right, my brother.
So that motherfucker ain't say shit. That was some bullshit right there, right? It could have been anybody on that one right there. And man, they ate this motherfucker up in the comments on this shit right here. The comments on this one right here, boy, they was eating this motherfucker alive on this shit right here. Look at this shit. Look, this interview is getting done. It's over with. What is it? What do you mean two sides to every story? They just eating this motherfucker up. You called him brother. Look, they going in on this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And clearly everybody fell for it. That ain't even, motherfucking everybody been trying to, nobody's got this motherfucker's interview, right? Nobody, not you would think, right? You would think by now Eric Holder would have been, somebody would have dropped a bag on him, right? Somebody, Vlad, motherfucking, Adam 22, anybody would have dropped a bag on him, right? And now I talked to Alex Alonso, right? He runs Street TV. I was chopping it with him last week over the issue with the other video and shit. And when I was chopping it with him, he got the idea to reach out to Eric Holder. So Eric Holder has never reached out to Eric Holder. And the reason I even seen this video today was because I was in Nina Boy's live and he did a reaction to this video. And this is where I picked it up on. Now, in Nina Boy's live, the dude said that Vlad and all these motherfuckers turned down Eric Holder. They didn't want to take the video. Take the interview. And then he said Alex Alonso and some other shit didn't. But that was totally incorrect. I know Vlad and them motherfuckers, them was vultures right there. They would have jumped on that motherfucking opportunity. You feel me? They would have jumped on the opportunity to motherfucking get that interview. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this official interview with him, because that other one we just looked at, right? That was some straight bullshit. So we're gonna go check this one out, and I feel like the dude that did this one, his name is, hold on one second, pull it up in my history real quick. His name is King Wano. Shout out King Wano. Y'all can go check out his channel. You can check it out, but let's go ahead and peep this out and see what we think. We think this is some real shit, or we think this shit is falsified. Let's go ahead and check it out.
My baby mama trip, she been going through my phone. Tired of me cheating, I can't leave her alone. Hella pics, hella tips on my cash out. It's like I hold up a minute every time. What up, though, y'all? How you living? Man, so look, I threw the low song for this one. Dog, so I gotta clear somebody's name. In my life, I've been accused of things that I didn't do. But then some of the things that
So let me just pause it right there, because I've noticed over the last couple of weeks, right, there's been like a campaign to clear Big U. And I don't have no dog in this fight, you feel me? But I've noticed there's been a lot of videos with the whole narrative to make sure they remove him from the situation in any part, which, you could flip a coin and it could go either way, right? It could go this side, it could go that side, it could go either side, right? But pay attention to what he says and the reason why he says Big U needs to be cleared here when we finally get into this, though. But I don't know if y'all have peeped that too, but I've seen it. There's been a campaign that's surely pushing that, though.
he did do made it look like what I was being accused of was possible that I did. Might even made me look like I did it because I actually done things maybe close or similar or maybe leading up to, So on the internet, what's been going on lately is the whole Nipsey Hussle thing. And everybody wants to know what happened to Nipsey Hussle and why it happened and so on and so forth. And we're Whack 100 and Big U beefing. been a whole lot of back and forth. There's been a whole lot of misinformation. There's also been a whole lot of bullshit. You smell me? So,
all right, what up?
what happened to Nipsey Hussle really bothered me because I'm in his age group. And outside of the gang shit, I would have to say I was more like Big Sam. I followed them same rules, codes, ethics, and understandings as an individual. And in my mind, and in my teachings, I was taught to believe that if I handled things and carried it a certain way, once I made it to a certain point and I had accomplished certain goals, then I would be afforded a certain type of respectability. And seeing how the hopscotch game that you have to play to even get to that point is so, it's like nailing jello to the wall. You don't see too many guys that make it because like, oh, he snitched. Oh, he left the hood. Oh, his parents gave him some money. Oh, it's always something to discredit you. There was nothing you could say about Nip to discredit the man. So seeing that made me dig deep and know like, it do pay off. It will pay. And then to see him cut down like that bothered the fuck out of me, bro. Bothered me. And then to hear it be brought back up in a manner of which of disrespect to Nipsey really bothered me. So for the past little bit, I've been doing my research. Shout out to Jay Man. I've been doing my homework. I've been eating my whoops too. And what I've come to find out is Big U ain't had nothing to do with Nipsey getting killed. I talked to Eric Holder himself. I'm about to show you some proof that I talked to the nigga himself. And now that don't absolve Big U out of what he's being accused of with some of this strong arm tactics, which is what made it so easily to believe that he might have had something to do with Nipsey. Now that ain't saying that Big U wasn't being a player hater in some cases when it came to Nipsey, but he didn't have nothing to do with that. You know, while making this video and while doing some of this research, I just had to throw this in there. I realized, like, outside of California, the way some of y'all black people treat each other, we look at it as player hate. You know, it might be gang politics, it might be being in the gang, but we kind of look at that shit as crab in a bucket, leech behavior. Now, that's not necessarily trying to disrespect nobody or nothing like that, but then y'all behavior kind of comes off as disrespectful to the other black people in America because it's certain things we do to each other no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Like in Detroit, right? Two black people kill each other, right? But a black person here ain't gonna stand there while you partner up with a white person to kill a black person. A black person here, I might exploit you, but I'm not gonna stand here and help this white dude exploit you. Y'all do a lot of that shit, you know what I mean?
So I'm kind of with him saying that, right now. So it's all right when two brothers do it, but when the white dude is involved, now he making sense to a degree, but it kind of he's saying that's what Cali motherfuckers is doing, and Detroit motherfuckers don't do that. But you know, and I wish he would just get straight to the motherfucking shit with Eric Holder though already though. Let's just get to it.
I might rob you, but I'm not gonna extort you, dog. I may not like you, but I ain't gonna try and block you doing better for yourself. And to be honest, it seems like it's okay to do a lot of that in California, at least Southern California. I specified all you know.
Now, what's up? Do y'all agree with that right there? Is that a primary Southern California issue right there? I mean, it's like the lesser of two evils, right? Like, I won't extort you, but I'm gonna rob you. You know what I mean? But I won't stand by it. Like, I don't know. I mean, he conscious, right? He aware. He got the third eye open and shit, right? But let's get to the Eric Holder shit, bro. Come on, let's get to it.
Because they be on my ass. Like, that's a Southern California thing, and I guess they got a point. And we out. Now, as you see, he said, "Big U is."
So before he get to talking, this is what they call in the receipts right here. This piece right here. This is the receipt. So for anybody that's ever been incarcerated, especially in California, anywhere like that, they run off of JPay, to my knowledge, and this does not look like a JPay message by any means. You know what I mean? Like, I've had JPays and all that type of stuff on the receiving end, but you know, I don't know. This don't look like a core links. I don't know if it's a motherfucking email. What is this shit supposed to be though? Like, what is this? Like, what? This is the receipts though. I mean, like, this could be anybody right here. You know, Eric Holder. The date is 9/7. The logo is cut off right here, but I think it says EH right there. So like a contact, you know, like how the iPhone has it, right? The iPhone. That's not a JPay though. It's not a JPay in the California runs off of a motherfucking JPay though. Where's the JPay? So I don't know. That to me, there needs to be way more receipts than this. If this is the receipt, it's hard to buy into this shit right here. This is a hard sell right here to me. But let's hear what he got to say.
Bringing up in this situation, you also see it's a big difference in between being Shitty G and Shitty Cuz. He goes on to explain his level of gangsterism and his specific set within the game. Oh yeah, he went in. And then I asked him what was going on out there. He said too much.
And as you can
Hold on, let's go back here because I ain't catch all of it right away, right? I seen it earlier, but we gonna look at this together right here. Bro said, bro, it's all a cover for Big U. No hands, no feet on Eric has ever been clapped together. It's proof you need to know he's been cleared for the hit. Gold Digger says, how does something that happens all over the world, black on prime, get narrowed down to Southern? Yeah, that shit don't make no sense to me neither, Gold Digger. You know what I mean? Like I wanna flow with him. I want to build with him. You know what I mean? I like where his head is at to a degree, but that shit, the math ain't mapping on that one right there, player. Now, he says, cuz too old to be bringing up this situation, right? So he's referring to Big U in this piece right here. Cuz too old to be bringing up this situation, but why Brick Baby got to speak on the scenario? Cuz is an affiliate to who I am, and Cuz can never call himself nobody big homie. Now, Brick Baby, we all know is right. He's little shitty Cuz, and this would, and Eric Holder would be what, baby or some shit, right? So, I mean, he may not be his big homie, but I mean, he surely got rank above you. But you know, I'm considered Shitty G. That stands for gangster. So I don't do well with people who Crip card, don't check out, speaking on things. And then he goes on, I'm validated Crip rolling 60. So this is flawed to me. This is like an out of towner putting this shit together, because anybody that know neighborhood and motherfucking them two cars is different. The gangster car and the neighborhood car, they two different cars, especially in the pen. So why he would be calling himself Shitty G? Shitty G is kind of a hard reach in my humblest of opinions. And I'm a non-affiliate. Let's get it right though. You remember, I'm a non-affiliate. These motherfuckers be on my ass in the comments. Yeah, I don't gang bang. I don't claim no hood, but I've been around long enough to know that, man, that shit kind of don't go together right there, man. But you know, let him tell it though. This is Eric Holder right here speaking. So he's saying he ain't that Brick Baby shouldn't be speaking on the scenario. I'm considered Shitty G, which stands for gangster, right? So I don't do well with people who Crip card, don't check out, speaking on things, but my card valid as a Crip rolling 60s. Yeah, so his card's valid, and he goes on to say something else, right? He said, what else to say right here? My OH is my gang and the young generation. The whole thing is what MA card reads. Huh. So let's hear the rest of it.
And his specific set within the game. Oh yeah, he went in. And then I asked him what was going on out there. He said too much.
And as you can see from the message that, you know, you got to decode the gang talk and the posturing.
So hold up, before he start getting real deep, let me add this to the motherfucking, to the comment. They lying. NH's hustlers, not gangsters. That's A-Trade. Thank you. Somebody caught that shit, right? Blatant. Yeah, that shit. It's like an out of towner though, right? I ain't even in Cali and I know that shit, right? I like motherfucking, like, you know, the rival, the biggest rival, the Rolling 60 neighborhood is the A-Trade gangsters. Like, man, that's a quick motherfucking, whoever did this shit ain't did they due diligence, right? I don't know. Hard for me to buy into this shit. So let me rewind so I don't cut bro off right here. Let's hear him out.
No, You gotta decode the game talk and the posture.
You feel me, Killer Cam?
What he's saying is, Big, you too old to even have any say so in what they doing. And then,
so that's cap right there. Big U is never gonna be too old to motherfucking have any say so. I mean, the motherfucking is as old as he get, long as he stays credible in his area. He always valid, and we clearly see he moving and doing all kinds of shit. He's a big player to a degree. So for him to say, you know, like that would be incorrect right there. And I'm still not pointing fingers at Big U and saying, like, you know, empirically he's motherfucking involved, but to say that he ain't got no pull in that shit, nah.
something else he went on to point out to me is his name is Shitty.
You feel me, Killer Cam? Facts.
Brick Baby, he called Brick Baby an affiliate. Brick Baby can't call no dogs on him. He's not his big homie. And it's a difference between the bigs and the littles, the lokes, cousins, and the G's. From my understanding, it means something if you got a loke on the end of your name. It means something. It's different if you got a G on the end of your name. And it means
It surely is, especially if you coming from rolling 60 neighborhood crib. Yeah, that G ain't gonna be there. Like dude said right here. Let me add his shit right here to it now. He on point. The word gangster the neighborhood is an insult though. I mean, why that right there? I mean, I don't know if bro is doing too much due diligence on streetgangs.com or where he pulling all this information from, but you know, at the end of the day, some of this shit is invalid. And when I was on Nina Boy's stream watching these two chop it up, they had a good conversation. I fuck with their conversation. They was from a conscious standpoint, you know, they was building. But, you know, this brother went on to say that gangs originated in Southern California to fight the Black Panthers. That's incorrect. That's not the reason why gangs form neither. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of flaws in the pieces he was throwing out there to the world as being, you know, solid and valid, you know what I mean? And, you know, I don't know, you know, I got to add up all those pieces. I haven't seen, and for receipts, you know, this ain't a JPay though. This ain't, I don't know, we need to see the receipt seats, you know what I mean? This ain't the receipt seats, you feel me? Like, yeah, he got the structures all wrong. The 60s had tiny lokes, yeah, you know what I mean? NH Hustlers, A-Trade Gangsters, yeah, facts. Nina want the content. Yeah, and I ain't mad at Nina though. You know what I mean? Shit, he the one that put it on here. It's worth talking about since this is going viral now. You know what I mean?
Shitty G. I'm thinking that G mean going. Cause just in the way he typed the shit was too hardcore. I don't know what the fuck to say about it. But he specified that, and he's offended by Brick Baby's claims. He's not Brick Baby's not his big homie. He wanted that clear.
Now, hypothetically, he could be right about that, right? Because Brick Baby is Little City, so there's a big city somewhere. I don't know who the fuck that is. That's a whole nother ball game. But yeah, I guess I could see that. But from my knowledge, Brick Baby, from what we've all seen on the internet, that he is validated to a degree in the 60s. So, you know, whether he don't show up to the hood days and all that shit, that's a whole nother ball game. I don't think 9 out of 10 of motherfucking YouTubers on this motherfucker probably don't show up to their hood days. But Brick Baby seems to be validated. He seems to have, you know, he got ties with Dirk. He been in ATL. Like, you know, he been around for a minute. He just now getting the spotlight. And a lot of the spotlight he done got right came from motherfucking being Little City. So that, I mean, that's the tie-in right there. And what gets me though, and I'm not trying to provoke no violence or none of that type of shit, but you know, I come from another era, and you know, usually when a motherfucker's affiliated like that with, like, say, like Eric Holder, he being, you know, affiliated like that with him, I'm surprised motherfuckers ain't knocked down Brick Baby on the pretense of him even having them ties right there just off the strength of what happened to Nip. And like I said, I'm not trying to promote nothing by no means. It's just the era that I came from when gangbanging was totally different than this 2025 shit. So it's kind of like, you know, to watch, but then again, everything online now, motherfucking people make a mockery of this shit all online. And I don't promote gangbanging, ain't an advocate for it. I'm a non-affiliate. Let's get all that clear. But, you know, let's read some of these comments real quick. So, is Shitty proud that he took 60 took out Nip? Is he beating his chest now beyond? Yeah, basically, go there. Yeah, you got to figure. Yeah, he feel like if this is actually true, you got to feel he took out the president right there. You know what I mean? So, and some motherfuckers on the flip side of the coin would say if he was really asking about snitching paperwork, he did the right thing by coming back here and knocking him off. That's the street code, right? I mean, it's we would, with us having a greater understanding to the big picture, but I mean, when you operating by street code, yeah, motherfucker would gladly, you know what I mean? He'd feel real proud about that shit. Nina know this BS, but his job to watch the content, yeah, you got to do your research. Yeah, Eric Holder receiving any money on his books, and that's probably true. But I mean, I still would feel like a bigger out of all the motherfuckers that have been reaching out trying to get an interview with this motherfucker or talk to him or anything like that. So once again, even if he is talking to him, the motherfucker's in a mental hospital or what did it say he was in? He was in a motherfucking a medical facility. So he's probably he medicated. You know what I mean? Motherfucker could be any and everywhere. So that tips the scales for me into this brother's favor right here. That maybe he's legit talking to him, and I just don't know what form of communication he's using because I ain't never seen this. Don't look like no JPEG, none of that shit. So I'm trying to be non-biased and look at this from both sides, you know what I mean? Which also, I mean, to me, I don't know. To me, it kind of looks like, let's see the rest of it.
He also wanted it to be clear that nobody could tell him he could or could not be in that neighborhood because he is alumni. And his threat level, he's threat level number.
See, now, Chris, let me put this up here. I don't know why he wouldn't have no contact like that, even if he's on meds. You know how many motherfuckers is on meds in the pen, though? Like, when they call med call, you know how long that motherfucking line is in the pen? Like, everybody's on motherfucking meds in the pen. That's how a lot of motherfuckers cope and do their time. Motherfuckers be going to the med call, telling the doctor they hear voices and all kind of shit just to get some fucking they want to get up out of their mind. They want to leave reality. Reality is, I've been locked up, so I don't know where he could be at where he don't have contact, where he can't make phone calls to his family or people. Like, long as you got money on your books to make that call, he should be good to be able to make them calls. Like, he didn't kill the president. He killed Nipsey Hussle. You know how many motherfuckers that are in the pen or in this that kill famous people? Like, they may be out of population, but they still can order canteen. They can still motherfucking write letters, make calls. If he's doing the JPay shit, they're allowed to do this shit. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to get on the phone and make a phone call and even have 15, 20 minutes if the money's on his books. I can't see that, though. I don't believe Eric neither. That talking email system, yeah, but usually the JPay logo would be on that shit. Usually you see the JPay shit on there. I ain't see the JPay, but I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. The sad thing about this is we get ourselves involved in stuff not realizing the ramifications. Did Nipsey need the game to get to where he was going? Maybe. Or maybe he just felt that way. We got to watch what we get involved in, man. And then once you're involved, once you're a soldier in that uniform, you got to know as a legislator in the Navy, you can't run up on a ship commander in a manner of which they may deem disrespectful, even if they subordinate to you. They willing to go to the brig for 100 years about their respect. And as much as I love Nip, as much as I respect Nip, as much as I appreciate Nip, I can't look past that fact. I wish this shit didn't happen.
So the fact he's talking about is that the conversation that he's saying basically Nip should have never had the conversation with Shitty Cuz, right? He should have never had that shit. So we don't know the whole conversation. Now, if you remember the getaway driver, who's some people won't even call her the getaway driver because she never got charged, right? She got immunity. And she's the one that heard 58 seconds. And I can't even quote Alex Alonso's videos no more. I texted him and asked him if I could get on one. He didn't reply, so I don't want to get a strike again. But he shot me the transcripts. I could go through them and go over them. But she's the one that said she heard 58 seconds and she heard Eric Holder being aggressive towards Nip, asking Nip if Nip snitched, though, right? So if they was going back and forth, I don't think Nip really had too much of a choice, because if we remember, Nip, when Eric Holder pulled into the parking lot, he told Cowboy verbatim from Cowboy, I wonder how this gonna go, right? He said, I wonder how this gonna go. So for me to think this is so open and shut and motherfucking like clearly motherfucking Eric Holder ain't like no like real lieutenant. You know what I mean? He been out the hood for a minute. Motherfucking everybody said they ain't even seen him show around, come around, then that shit. He been in Long Beach. He been in Long Beach for the longest, and now he pop up this one time when Nip is slipping. Like all these pieces, just luckily at this time he catches Nip and all the protocol off. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know. You know what I mean? And I don't. Do I think Nip is in the wrong? I don't know the conversation, but I think, you know, Nip was wrong for being there naked. You know what I mean? I think motherfucking he should have at least had something on him or something. You know what I mean? That part I feel like, you know, he definitely, in my opinion, yeah, that piece of the equation. But the conversation, we don't only the people that was in that circle, right? And remember, it's Cowboy, Rampaw, and motherfucking Eric Holder, and there was a fourth person who's never been named. Cowboy said he couldn't remember the motherfucker's name, and nobody has ever identified him. They really even know this conversation outside of Eric Holder. So we don't know if Cowboy or Nip or anybody, Black Sam, anybody, if they protect him, if there's more to the scenario, you know what I mean? And these are all hypothetical what ifs, right? We just thinking out loud, but I don't know. It don't seem so open and shut to me. That's the reason why I don't believe in the content alone, because I feel like there's still some pieces, especially the fact that Eric Holder picked up before when he got picked up in Long Beach, he stopped and met some people before he went to the motherfucking Marathon store. There's never been any focus on who he's met, all right? That's never even been any focal point. Nobody even touches that piece, but that could be the piece of the equation where he got another pistol, or maybe that's where he got the red shirt. We don't know. But to think that old girl didn't know nothing about who he was when he got in the car, because she said she looking at her phone, right? She says she on her phone in her car like this. He hop in the car. She don't see no gun. She don't see no red shirt. She don't see none of that shit. All she sees is him hop in the car. But dude got Crip on his motherfucking shit, flag tied around his neck. How you don't know this is too many lies in her story for me to ever believe that she's truthful? And no matter who the fuck tells the police the truth anyway, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on, everybody be telling some bullshit. But let's hear the rest of this real quick.
But we all understand the streets. And I've been a man accused of things I did not do. And I've even talked shit about Big U a little bit on this channel because I thought it just looked like that. It did just look.
So he trying to clear up Big U, and it's possible. But let me read these comments real quick. So right, you didn't see the JPay because that's from technology. So Chris, you think that is a legit JPay message right there? Yeah, we don't know the whole convo. You know, he said Nip really didn't want to talk to him. He said, let me add this one right here. He said, have you seen Nipsey Hussle behind the scenes on Tubi? No, this is the one that Alex Alonso did tell me to peep, though. He says that case explains why the getaway got immunity and the Marathon camera footage wasn't released. Yeah, I still need to peep that. I need to download. I ain't watched shit on Tubi ever, but I need to watch that shit right there. But you know, there's an interview with the detective, and I'll pull it up next, where the detective is asked. They asked the detective if they think there's more to this case than just Eric Holder shooting him, and he kind of says pretty much, yeah, you know, there's other, you know, it could be, but that's coming from the detective. So, you know, for me to really think that the LAPD or any of them motherfuckers really wanted LAPD, quiet as kept, could be the ones that orchestrated and knocked this off and funded them. You know what I mean? In my opinion, it's possible. I mean, they've been knocking off all the political figures for a long time, and we know Nip was very political, right? We know he had ties in the community and so forth. And if I recall it right, I feel like he had a meeting coming up like a few days before he got killed to meet with the LAPD or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of holes in this shit. Yeah, I got to download Tubi for real. That's the other system they have. I put money on my homie's book. From there, you can do everything from it. So, Chris, which one is it called, though? You got a name of it? Is it just the one you had up there, the Securus Technologies? I'm going to have to Google that shit because I ain't never heard of that.
Yeah, but that ain't the case.
And that ain't to say it ain't his fault that it looked like that. Certain things that was said, certain things that was did, certain actions. Sitting next to Whack 100 talking shit about Nip right after Nip died. All kind of little things. The robbery of Gilly, but y'all still friends. It's several. The lying about pressing DJ Khaled really made it look like y'all was on some lying ass shit. But according to Shitty G, that is, Big U was too old to call that dog. Period. And we owe. Now he wasn't clear, but he claimed. No, you know what? We'll save all that other information because a lot of y'all making a lot of money on this internet spreading lies, man, and that shit kind of fucked up. Y'all fucking up people's names. Y'all fucking up people's credibility. Y'all just fucking up. But I mean, I guess you're getting money off of it, so I ain't gonna hate on that. But we ain't doing that over here, and we out.
So I'm gonna give the brother face value. You know what I mean? Personally, I don't know. There's too many inconsistencies and flaws in it. You know, I don't know. Maybe he really got contact and the dude's medicated right there. But you know, if I had to make a judgment call on it, I call cap on it. But that's my opinion right there. Y'all free to believe whatever y'all want to believe. I don't know if I can buy into that. But he said Black Sam said when they pull up 2 straps with protocol, people were there told to move around when it. Yeah, you know, all that shit just don't sit right? So, you know. Protocol wasn't there, you know, Cowboy with all the inconsistencies and shit like that. So we're gonna watch this next one right here. This one right here came out today. Personally, I don't want to buy into it just too much, but he makes some strong points about this you know, about Cowboy and shit up in this one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. This one got the detective in it. This is the one that got the detective in it. So I'm gonna pull that one up just on the strength of that right here. So here's this one right here.
You know, Banker T.
Tour. Follow the protocol. I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? From my understanding, the boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene because he knows what's going on in that parking lot. Probably seen nobody was in the doorways. Checked Hustle had on shorts. Checked everybody else. They say came back with a red shirt.
Ain't never in the door with the hoodie and with the things like that. that never been my job.
Cowboy, was he really the blueprint to Nipsey, his mentor, or was he mad at his little homie succeeded at all the dreams he failed at, or was he just a poisonous snake, jealous and envious like Big U? And if you didn't know, Big U is Cowboy's big homie.
How did you meet Big U? Probably always my big homie, just in the hood. He was the big homie, you know what I mean? Since I was a little kid growing up, watching the big homie, Big U, Eddie Boy, Slap Rock, Mad Ronnie, you know, Banker T, Nicky Bam. These are all my big homies, you know, you're a little kid, you see the big homies, you know what I mean? It was all big homies.
See, Cowboy doesn't have a problem talking back to Black Sam, but he defends Big U every chance he gets.
Well, regardless to me or with Big U, when I heard any information concerning me or Big U, it was never a question about Big U. I know Big U loved them. Big U always had money. Big U. So it was never no question. I never questioned. You know, I know that really had love for them. And if you look at everything, nobody benefits from Nip's death. Nobody. Nip and his family was running the business. It wasn't like he was.
So let me pause it right there. Let's take a look at this one. Big U, Bootleg, Kev, interview, victory lap. Let's take a quick glance at this piece right here, because this one right here, I think it's because he definitely made more money off of victory lap after Nip died if he had percentage of it, right?
You talked about signing Nipsey. I mean, obviously, aside from being from the same area, how did that end up, happening? And you told the story a lot before, so just kind of give us a quick,
Yeah. My nephew, TD, I was looking for artists. TD told me to go get Nip. I went to seek Nip out of all the people I already been interviewing and talking to. And he was the shining light. He was the diamond in a pile of whatever.
Right.
He was a diamond. Respect to my other homies, he was a diamond in a pile of other diamonds, but he just.
It was a bigger diamond.
He was a shine.
Yeah.
He was, and then
he was the VVS.
He was the VVS.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we had made a couple of moves and was trying to move through a couple of doors, and I vastly found out that I couldn't go through these doors. So that's when I went and got Steve Lobel. And I went and got Steve. That Steve hit the music. Steve felt the same way I felt about the music. And I was like, boom. So I signed Nipsey to Unique Music, to my to Aramis Astrodome, to my label, to Unique Music. And then Steve was 10% manager and I was 10% manager. It didn't make no sense for us to go get another manager.
Right.
And so we started pushing on that. So I signed him to it. It was signed to a 10-year production contract, which started in 2009, which would end 2019.
Crazy.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, I gotta peep that. I gotta peep that Tubi one for sure. I gotta peep that one out for sure. I gotta check it out. I gotta download that shit. I'm gonna check it out tomorrow. Nip had a meeting with a Blood and Crip Truth and LA. Yeah, that's what I heard about right there.
You know my big homie. You know, when you're a little kid, you see the big homie. You know what I mean? They was all big homie.
See, Cowboy doesn't have a problem talking back to Black Sam, but he defends Big U every chance he gets.
Well, regardless to me or with Big U, when I heard any information concerning me or Big U, it was never a question about Big U. I know Big U loved them. Big U always had money. Big U. So it was never no question. I never questioned that I know that really had love for Nip. And if you look at everything, nobody benefits from Nip's death. Nobody. Nip and his family was running the business. It wasn't like he was up under some record label when he had all these different partners. You know, just him and his brother and his family. You know, Nip led the ship itself, so nobody benefits. So when Nip passed, and okay, his family got everything.
Right.
So nobody benefits. Big, you ain't getting no dollar out of.
We just seen that he did though. We just seen that he did. So allegedly, Eric Holder caught a beat down the day or 42. So he was on some demon time. What was that beat down about? And that you're talking about right there, Gold Digger, that came out of Cowboy's mouth though. So you know, for Eric Holder to pull in the parking lot, for Nip to motherfucking be like, damn, I wonder how this shit gonna play out. For Cowboy to know that this motherfucker just did some shit the other day, red flags across the motherfucking board, everybody shaking hands with him, everything cool, and he hopping out with a flag on his neck. You know what I mean? Like, there's too many. That's the shit that just don't set right with me about none of this shit being just open and shut. He mad that day after the conversation. It just don't make no sense.
Why would I still be on Crenshaw selling T-shirts after Nipsey passing? Why, you know, who does that?
See, just like Big U, Cowboy tries to take credit for everything Nipsey did.
I ain't blueprint, like, Nip watched my blueprint. I had a blueprint coming off from prison. I explained to Nip, okay, look, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And he ran with it. And he took it further than I thought. I knew he was gonna be big. I knew he was gonna go around the world.
Who do you think came up with the name Nipsey Hussle, according to?
Well, Jenny, the reason that is because he's a smoker though. He's an ex base head though. You know what I mean? He's a user. You feel me? Like, yeah, he be all over the place. Now the man just said that Nip took his blueprint though. Nip took his blueprint and ran with his blueprint. That's what he just said in the interview.
It was him.
We had a big impact on Snoop Dogg's case as well. You know, we sat there and we protested in front of the criminal courthouse building, you know. So when I met Nip, he was like my young Snoop, you know what I mean? So even when he got the name, I hear a lot of people talking about how Nip got his name and all that stuff. I remember being in the studio and I was like cracking my jokes like, man, you're gonna be Little Snoop Dogg. We're gonna call you this. At the time, his name was E. We called him E Money, and we called him That was his name, you know. But we were trying to figure out what his rap name was gonna be. So, you know, we're selling the bootleg movies, so we always sold the bootleg movies. And so I'm in there cracking jokes and we're trying to figure out his name. And then you look at the bootleg movie was playing in the background. It was Black Dynamite was playing in the background, and you hear him come in, he kicked the door. He said, "Tell that Nipsey, I'm looking for him. And that's when Nip looked at me and we looked at each other and he was like, Hustle. That's how we came up with the Nipsey Hustle. So if you look at the movie, The Black Dynamite, and it's a character, it's a Nipsey Hustle.
Oh, wow.
And they always say, oh, it's Nipsey Russell and all that. And we used to sell those bootleg movies. And
Wow.
and I think it maybe me, him, and China was there when came up with the name.
But let Nipsey tell it, you don't even hear Cowboy being mentioned in the story when they came up with the name.
That was given to me. I ain't come up with that. I ain't gonna take credit. Baby Gucci gave me that name. Just something like clown. I came in the spot with a stack in my pocket, a big chain on, and you know what I'm saying, some weed, a bottle for the homies. We've been in the studio for a couple weeks doing bad. You know what I'm saying? Him being a hoe, just joking around like Nipsey Hustle. Start laughing, everybody laugh. I didn't even know Nipsey Russell was. But I just like how it sound, you feel me? I was doing music already, so I ain't really had no money for it, bro. I was just Nip, or whatever, my real. I used to go wild. But just stuff, man.
If you let Cowboy tell it, he's the reason why Nipsey made it. And the Marathon store probably wouldn't be here without him.
From prison in 03, met Nip, you know, got into the studios, bought a computer. We learned how to do a little music, learned the Pro Tools. They would let me rap in certain studios and I would see him not rapping. I say, man, why you not rapping? But he wasn't a part of their group. And at that time, he wasn't officially from the hood. You know, so I seen a lot of me in him.
Yeah, so after Nip passed, I really got into the t-shirt more. I went to prison, I did drugs, I fell off. Nip and them kept going. So I was one of the first to start it, but a lot of that middle, I missed. You know, I was on another path, you know, I missed. So I was like the last piece of the puzzle.
See, this is why you don't do hard drugs, because the effects could last a lifetime. Because in the next clip, he says when he was first introduced to Nipsey, Nipsey already was rapping and got like 30, 40 songs.
Well, he was sitting in one of my sessions, and when I came out of the session, I asked him why he wasn't rapping. He told me he wasn't a part of the crew. So I asked him what we needed, and then we got the equipment, you know. Then he had already had some music that was tight. He did a song with Cuzzy, and I'm like, man, why it out? Nip already had 30, 40 songs that was all bangers. You know what I mean? I'm just the one that grabbed them and started putting them out. Eventually, the equipment got stolen, and those songs were lost. So lucky I put them out. That's why we still got them to this day.
Now I'm confused, Cowboy, which one is it? And I'm also confused about Cowboy saying that he never wanted to be a rapper. He never wanted to do music. He always wanted to do comedy.
Never dreamed of being a rapper. So when I met Nip, it was easy for me just to set it down and focus on him, you know, because that was never my dream. I always wanted to do comedy.
Well, congrats, Cowboy. Somehow you did both with this one.
I was acting hard. I wanted to like we on the level 4 yard. Reaching for the bar. Big smoke, had him calling for the guard. Often hot meds, I lay in the yard.
See, now you just playing in everybody's face and think that we all stupid. See, when Nipsey got signed, Cowboy, we know you've been trying to do music your whole life. You even said it in the same interview.
I would imagine that my mom would have bought me those guitars and drums and all. I wanted when I was a kid, you know, I would have been a great musician, you know, but I learned music late. I always had it in me, but like I said, I wrote 300-400 songs before I even knew what bars were.
Cowboy was trying to get signed too. That same demo tape Nipsey was on, he said he was on too.
We say, okay, before Nip even blew up, when Big U and Steve LaBelle rolled up on me. When they rolled up on me, I'm gonna say 06, when they rolled up on me. And so prior to that, I did a video and I showed it to Big U. And it was me and Nip on it. Nip had some hard video on it.
See, now with all this lying, I think I figured it out. See, Cowboy always wanted to do music. Cowboy never gave up his rap dreams.
Run it back, cuz. Run it back. Like Cam mentioned, what's up, cuz? Put that line on pressure. Yeah. I hit the pull up, hit the stack. What's up? Hey, black town, so you know it's hey, so I can't be like, hey, I know I've been straight and then crack the gates. Whoa, rolled up in that 48. That's a 745. Take down, pass the steps, and tell little mama. Lay, side rolled up, catch me in the hood when the tiny goes going up. And everybody know I'm going up. And every hood function I be showing up.
the cup, got me turned right up. Now I'm at the bar and I'm breaking down more. Mixing up drinks and baby joy.
But nobody took Cowboy serious. Nip was.
Y'all think Cowboy got it in him to be a rapper though right there? That motherfucker kind of cold with the shit. I'm surprised I ain't never heard that shit before right there. This motherfucking toxic media be going in on him though.
Position, and that's his little homie. He ain't putting him on. He's sweeping his store. I was on the fence about Cowboy being jealous and envious, but when he told this story right here, I said, nah, he's either a great actor or he a real life Crip angel.
Everything that I wanted to do, I did it through him. I did it. You know, it was never no jockeying for position or nothing. I lived it through him. When I wanted a restaurant, I said, I seen the fish house and I talked to the mom, I talked to the Chinese lady and I said, man, I want to buy your restaurant. She said, oh yeah, give me 30,000, 40,000. They just casually said it. I said, hold that thought. I ran next door. I tell Black Sam and Nip, I said, hey man, they want to sell me the restaurant, 30,000, 40,000 or whatever. Monday morning, Black Sam had the keys. Wow. You feel me? You know, and I'm like, damn, they got my restaurant, you know. But then he said, tell me, go to Home Depot, get the floor, go do this, go get the equipment. So I didn't have a restaurant, but I had a restaurant.
See, this is why I knew something was up, because ain't no damn way you asked for a loan, but instead they told you to get the wood and do the floors, and you still happy about it. Man, stop playing, Cowboy. Cowboy forced himself back into all money in. Nip was just looking out like, hey, you do a little something here and there, I can throw you some dollars.
He right though. Cowboy be putting himself, he be involving himself with every single thing and got no equity in nothing though. He ain't got no equity in the marathon, no equity in the motherfucking fish store. But he be putting himself in every fucking thing though.
He really wasn't thinking about putting Cowboy back on the team like that.
I mean, they would, wherever they went, I would just pop up. I never announced that I was coming. He was in Louisiana, I would show up. You know, he Washington, D.C., I'd be in the parking lot, you know. So all the spots I popped up, they laugh when they see me pop up. I just pop up out the blue. Like, man, what you doing out here? I'm on tour with you. What you mean what I'm doing out here, you know?
Oh, hell no. A crackhead big homie with freaking flyer money? That's the only thing you can't hide from. Besides God and the IRS, Nip already had his team, and it was too solid. Cowboy just sweeping in the corner, giving that evil eye, the whole time plotting. See, when Cowboy came back, Nipsey gave him a broom and said, do your thing. He gave all the old crackheads a job like that. And in this mind, he was showing them love. You could be out there, man.
Nip did show all the motherfuckers love, all the smokers, all that, because you remember Sloss and Bruce? I don't know what even happened to Sloss and Bruce, but remember he gave him a job too. Remember he had the one little video where he pulled up in the Maybach and took the dude up, got him all cleaned up, got him fitted and all that shit. Nip showed love to the whole neighborhood though. He didn't give a fuck. He gave you a chance to look like, you know what I mean?
No job, no money or nothing. Do something and I'm gonna give you some money. Wipe the windows down. But when Sam come back, oh man, it's a Hollywood movie.
Black Sam in that new thing, 017, feel me? Big body, backseat recline, TVs and all that. Yeah.
See, when Nipsey first passed, I said Cowboy's the only real one out here. He giving up his whole rep for Nipsey. He's gonna take the stand and get labeled as a rat just because he loved Nipsey so much. But if you look a little closer, that love he shows for Nipsey is looking a little funny in the light. Let's forget about, ironically, how Eric Holder was running away. He just happened to be coming out. And the way Cowboy speaks about Nipsey, you would think that was his blood little brother. But when Nipsey was on the ground, I don't know, it just didn't seem like he was trying his best to keep Nipsey alive. Hey, some say—
See, I think he reaching like a motherfucker with this shit right here, talking about he's pocket checking Nip while he dying right there. See, I don't know. I can't, you know what I mean? This is the problem with motherfucking in the online journalism, right? Anybody can misconstrue this shit anyway. They got this motherfucker labeled as pocket checking the man and he dying right there. Come on now. That shit is downright disrespectful right there. How you gonna— I don't know. You can't put that on that man. I don't know if he pocket checking. What the fuck? See, they be reaching, they be extra reaching, pocket checking him when he died. But it's convenient though. He came out just like that. Ain't nobody give no chase to Eric Holder. He ain't do none of that shit. You know what I mean? But pocket check.
And tapping the pockets a little bit, allegedly. The footage is too fuzzy. You can't really tell. But forget about that though. But why not even 5-10 minutes after, Cowboy is already doing an interview about how it all went down? It's like he was prepared for this.
Now, Cowboy was the first person to be doing interviews, and he been going on them ever since. I ain't never seen nobody else, Black Sam and nobody else has been in the spotlight like Cowboy. Cowboy has been the main motherfucker forever to this day, except for as of recent. That's why Black Sam's interview is so powerful, because he broke his silence after so long.
He started off selling CDs in the trunk of the car 16 years ago, and we just purchased the building, just bought the whole building. So
Joined now by Cowboy, a friend of Nipsey's who was inside for the memorial. Thanks for being here, Cowboy. As I understand, you said you were actually there at the Marathon clothing store the night that Nipsey got shot. What can you tell us about that night, and what do you remember?
Just a lot of emotions going on. The whole city erupted.
And it's not one, it's interview after interview. Even when Nipsey's family and team asked Cowboy, come on, man, you doing too much. You can't just chill now, Cowboy? Okay, maybe he was trying to get the word out for Nipsey. But remember when Black Sam said, if they don't got the marathon tag,
it's a knockoff.
Crenshaw Clinic is a knockoff. And that was genius. And so now people like, yeah, that's if it ain't got the marathon on it, it ain't the real.
I think I might have been mistaken. I said that was towards Big U, but that might have been more towards Cowboy, because right after Nipsey died, he's already selling his own T-shirts in front of the Marathon store. I mean, it looked like the whole hood was doing it, so you got to cut him some slack.
All that shit is some knockoff shit, though. All that shit, knockoff, big knockoff. He making a whole lot of money, or he was at one point in time. I'm sure he ain't got it now, but
no shame.
Whole store full of that merch.
Nipsey's family either.
How's Cowboy business though? I don't know. You gotta go ask Cowboy. I don't know, right? Support him, named Cowboy, business nigga. All money in. And got nothing to do with us. If it doesn't have the marathon tag, it's a knockoff.
Knockoff.
And y'all caught me on the date. Normally I don't even respond like that. But I'm gonna tell you, they on no. And all that straw shoes, all that down in front of our shop, if we don't got the marathon tag, the knockoff. So if y'all gonna support that, no disrespect, because y'all could support whoever y'all want to support. I'm not telling y'all to support us. But just know when if y'all trying to support us, and y'all go buy that, I support you. All knockoffs. We don't.
I ain't doing something I ain't supposed to be doing. I think start railing up and start being. That's what I would do if I felt somebody was disrespecting me or disrespecting something that I was doing. I rail up and just beat. That's what I do. You know what I mean? So I come down here and see who's doing what. I come be some spending some type of way. Come down here with. You see some that's out of line. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, all that I Love Nipsey stuff went out the window, huh? And not only that, check out how he answered this fan when he was asking about marathon T-shirts.
Hey man, you gotta. I be seeing you got that fly ass Nip gear on, man. You got a website or something? You got I'm supposed to get some of that.
The memorabilia, like I said, no memorabilia like that. They got some on flossandalley.com. If you want marathon clothing, you can go to marathon.com and get you the real marathon gear too. So
yeah, I got some of that. I'm trying to get some of them tees. You know what I'm saying? Just go regular T-shirts. I've been seeing people.
Tantrum, what's up with it, homie? Yeah, Gold Digger, going off of what Siobhan says right there. Now, think about it. what are they worth more, alive or dead though? You know what I mean? And that now we all these years and we see that Puff really had a hand in Tupac death and motherfucking Biggie's death. You know what I mean? All that, the money is the root of all this shit right here, though, right? The money have a motherfucker. Cain killed Abel, right? So the money have a motherfucker cross any and everybody for that money, right? That I think that's why they call it the root of evil, right? Because the motherfucker will bend and fold and do all kind of strange shit for that money. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, shit. This can't Nip shit can't be no open and shut. Just motherfucker, he pulled up randomly, caught Nip slipping like that, and motherfucking that's all it is. Case closed. You know what I mean? Way more to it, and I'm sure 10 years down the road we'll probably get the answer. You know what I mean? Just like we did with Tupac shit and all that shit too.
Oh my right. Yeah, I got that type of scenes like that. You know what I mean? I'll go to slawsonalley.com, check them out right there.
See that right there? Now that's crazy work, Cowboy. We watching you now. And what was you doing with them guys in the alley, huh, Cowboy? Nah, this don't look right. And not only that, like Big U, why does Cowboy keep lying about what happened with Nipsey? Because it's not adding up. 1 minute he says Eric Holder was never a threat.
It wasn't like it was known information. Okay, this dude is telling or whatever it may be. So even if he was telling, just escorted him on the parking lot, like, bro, you know, like if Nip would have had words with him, if Nip would have been like, oh man, this right here, we'd have escorted him off the parking lot. But the hand, he shook our hands, conversation.
See, this is the shit that get me though. Motherfucker, you already knew that there was an issue the day before coming from you, and on top of that, Nip said as soon as he pulled up the parking lot, I wonder how this gonna go. That's red flag. So I mean, all this shit right here, and motherfucking, he's still profiting off these motherfucking interviews in 2024, still getting paid off this shit.
There was no degree of animosity, no degree of nothing. It was surprising to everybody.
So they wasn't worried. They let the guards down. They never thought that Eric would do what he did. But then the next minute he says he heard Eric was rolling around, popping up the burners out on the homies.
Oh, the day before he did something to Nipsey, he had jumped out with some homies earlier that day. He drew out a pistol. Feel me? Jumped out some. They had packed him out before he went and did whatever he had to do. He had got beat up. They beat his. So he came over there looking.
Remember when Cowboy said there's nothing to gain from Nipsey dying, especially from him and Big U. The family got it. And how come after Nipsey died, you gained a whole lot more than you ever have, Cowboy?
Great motherfucking question right there, Toxic Media. Great motherfucking question. Everybody stands to benefit when a motherfucker dies because a rapper is worth more dead, especially in this sense right here, than they are alive, though. Real shit. And we see it, though. This solidified Nip as a legend, as a true legend right here. He went down as a great right here, off of this bullshit right here. But gang of motherfuckers profited off that shit. Still are profiting off that shit. Now, I want to respond to this comment right here because what about how Nipsey's wife was hella close with Cassie? Now, that's true, though. Cassie and Lauren London were best friends, and Lauren London was actually casted in motherfucking some of P. Diddy's Sean John shit and all that shit. They hella close. It's a tough reach for me, though, to think that Puff was involved in knocking him off, but I don't know. You know, I mean, I'm open to have the conversation for it, even though it sounds far-fetched as fuck. Like, but I need to see some more tangible proof. I've seen some videos, but none of them really, you know what I mean? None of them really, you know what I mean, were solid in the sense, though. You feel me at all?
Somebody knows something. Pull up, though. I got a rule. Pull up. Y'all know something? Pull up. Pull up. Who knows something about what went down? Pull up. Pull up. Come get some of these bing bangs. Come get some of these bing bangs. You haters. Hey, the more these bing bangs stack up. You understand that? The more we are stacking these bing bangs. See that? You want to join the bing bang team? Them ain't nothing but bing bang. Yeah, so yeah.
Now this motherfucker, that motherfucker, hey, his Cubans, these motherfucking Cubans right here, look at these motherfuckers. These are motherfucking very expensive motherfucking pieces. He got the bracelet to match. He got the motherfucking charm right there. Man, I know how much the price of gold is. And them motherfuckers do look like they solid. I mean, maybe they ain't all the way, but this motherfucker's definitely getting bread, though. I don't know if all that come from the T-shirts and the memorabilia or what, but if it did, goddamn, he cleaned up, though. He cleaned up like a motherfucker. And I know some motherfuckers said that's been PPP money, right? That's what they tried to tell me, that a lot of his money was PPP money. I don't know about that, though.
So you mean to tell me the last moments of Nipsey's life, it was you, who's still friends with Big U, there's cousin Carrie, who's also been lying and real close to Big U, and Eric Coder, who coincidentally showed up calling Nipsey a snitch. Oh, nah, I got the whole setup, allegedly. There's about 60 pieces, but I just put it together. See, rumor is that cousin Carrie called Nipsey down to the shop for some t-shirts. He said he just got out, which is the reason why Nipsey went down to the shop all of a sudden without telling anybody. Man, check out cousin Carrie's story. First, he said he randomly saw Nipsey at the store and that he just got out, and then he switches it up and said, nah, I didn't know Nipsey was gonna be there. And he also said he got out 7 months ago. And check out Big U interrupting also. It seemed like cousin Carrie wasn't getting the story right.
So did you know Nipsey before, while you were locked up before, or any of that sort?
At all, not at all.
At all. Got it.
Somebody gave me a couple of pictures saying, hey, that's the new rapper. Is that right? Yeah. So when I got out, I took a selfie with him. He's a celebrity. Everybody's taking selfies. Let me take one.
Day of the incident. Can you describe?
Now he on point about Kerry Latham right here, but I gotta piggyback. Gold Digger, you on point with this shit right here. But what is Cowboy saying makes you wonder, right? If Nip really had made that statement at all, right? Could he be saving face? You know what I mean? Like, did Cowboy shake shitty hand? Yeah, he did. He shook his hand. He shook his hand twice. He took his, to my knowledge, right? He shook his hand when they pulled up, and then he went back into Master Burger, right? Got his motherfucking food, and then he came back out before he dipped. Remember, he went over there and he shook both two people's hand. He shook Cowboy hand and Rempaw's hand. I think Nip was still taking pictures, right? So he didn't shake Nip hand. But you know what I mean? It make you wonder though. And the motherfucking toxic media, they did a good little piece putting all this shit together right here. You know what I mean? He's pulling facts, and Kerry Latham surely is the weakest link in my opinion. Kerry Latham is the motherfucker. His story be all over the place, and I know he was on parole and he got more to lose than the average person. But you know, his ties with Big U and his knowledge about Nip, and like he said though, originally it said Nip pulled up. This is the reason why Nip was there naked, ain't had no pistols, because Nip was there to meet this motherfucker Kerry Latham. And ultimately, Kerry Latham go up in the store. He say he there for a white T-shirt. He go up in the whole store, the whole marathon store. He say he can't find a shirt that he wants. Right? He can't find not one shirt. He want one distinct white one that happens to be out of stock. And he's the one talking to Nip the whole time and keeping him outside before Eric Holder gets out there. So you know, it's just interesting to me that all these motherfuckers got ties. Right? I get it. It's a small community. Everybody could be tied in. You know, they friends, family. Especially they all from the same set and all that type of shit. But that's kind of like pawning it off, right? That's kind of like saying, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Exactly.
Me and my nephew were going up the street to console somebody else's parents because they just lost their parents. So he said, you don't have to keep wearing that shirt. I was like, what? He said, this shirt. I said, it's clean. He said, look, it's dingy. You're in the new world. You're not in prison no more. You can pull right. He said, matter of fact, they're gonna Nipsey a lot, so you can pull right in and grab you a fresh white shirt. I'm like, okay. So when I go in there, they didn't have the white ones that I wanted. And I said, when y'all gonna get that in again? He said, well, they're gonna Nipsey a lot. Go talk to him. And I talked to him. He said, that'll be about a week, bro. I said, okay. And when I said it, it was all bad.
Okay, because I guess what, you know, this is why I kind of want to clarify this with you on the phone. Like the story that was circulating was that you and Nipsey knew each other and he was meeting you down there to give you some clothes and you guys had some sort of prior relationship. But what you're saying is that you had no idea, you know, you guys didn't know each other at all. You just showed up and you ran into each other randomly.
No, I know it because I took a few pictures with him.
Right.
Like that. But so the parole officer was like,
this motherfucking story, he's the weakest link, though. He's the weakest link. He's the weakest link. Now, bigger than hip hop, right? Like, I get where you coming. He ain't got nothing to do with it. But I just find it real convenient, right? Real convenient, right? That, you know what I mean? Like, none of the story adds up, and you just happen to be right there. You know what I mean? And you got to remember when they pulled in, too. Remember, you got to remember who pulled in. If you look at that surveillance footage, Remember, they pulled in right after Eric Holder too. Now, I don't want to tie the pieces and say empirically, but remember, Eric Holder from the getaway driver talked to some people before anybody, right? You know what I mean? But I don't know. Could be reaching. It could, you know what I mean? I don't know. For him to get shot is a hell of a piece of the equation, right? He got popped, right? I don't think he meant to get popped, right? Maybe that was an accident. I don't know. But
me and my nephew were going up the street to console somebody else's parents because they just lost their parents. So he said, "You don't have to keep wearing that shirt." I was like, "What?" He said, "This shirt
appreciate you.
clean." He said, "Look, it's dingy. You're in the new world. You're not in prison no more. You can pull right." He said, "Matter of fact, they don't Nipsey in a lot, so you can pull right in and grab your a fresh white shirt." I'm like, "Okay." So when I go in there, they didn't have the white ones that I wanted. And I said, when y'all gonna get that in again? He said, "Well, they go Nipsey in a lot. Go talk to him." And I talked to him. He said, that'll be about a week, bro. I said, "Okay." And when I said it, it was all bad.
Okay, because I guess what, this is why I kind of want to clarify this with you on the phone. Like, the story that was circulating was that you and Nipsey knew each other and he was meeting you down there to give you some clothes and you guys have some sort of prior relationship. But what you're saying is that you had no idea, you guys didn't know each other at all. You just showed up and you ran into each other randomly.
No, I know it because I took a few pictures with him.
Right.
Like that. But so the parole officer was like, "Well, you have gang affiliation." I said, "Look, man, I know Nipsey about as much as I know you. You my parole officer. I met you. We've talked a few times. That's as far as I know him."
Yeah.
Now, when I first came home, Nipsey heard that I was home, and he filled up my little sister's backseat of her car.
This big you. Nipsey, he always look out for people when they come home. You know what I mean? He don't always be at the store all the time. But if he at the store and somebody just paroled, he don't have to know him to look out for him. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he'll hear somebody that just came home, and he might tell somebody that's working in the store that day, look out for the homie, he just came home. That's just the kind of person he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's very important in this whole situation. That this is what Nipsey was just doing for everybody that was just coming home. Everybody.
Yeah.
How I think it went down, allegedly, cousin Kerry got Nipsey to go down to the shop. And remember, Eric Holder was asking if Nipsey was a snitch. Where's the only other place he heard that at? The only other place I heard that at was Wax saying that Big U was using that against Nipsey to get back in the circle.
So here he about to get in deep on this one. But before he go into the snitch rumor and shit like that, let me address this comment right here. She said, "I may be reaching here. However, if Nip didn't move after the first few shots and Eric Holder hadn't doubled back, could the end result have been way different, or was a double back part of the plan?" I don't know. Him doubling back and having two guns and then ultimately giving him that final kick in the head. To me, that's almost he making sure he finished the job. In my opinion, that's overkill, right? He made sure that motherfucker wasn't what. And this is where Kerry Latham come into play too, because he could have just had those pistols and shot them other cats because he was like, shit, anybody around, he don't know if they got a pistol, so he knocking down everything that's even close to Nip, right? He just making sure nobody's gonna fire back. So he knocked them down, he knocked Nip down, but he doubled back though. I mean, shit, I don't know if it was the you think he would just knock him off, do it all in one shot and then leave, right? But doubling back is a hell of a piece of it, as well as that kick. I mean, that kick was personal as fuck. Super personal. Super personal.
It was Dahmer. Dahmer came over there to get out with Nick. Cuz you was my nigga, go to jail. Come to find out, you telling my baby mama, don't answer my phone calls, don't send me nothing. It's you and her. All you start 6 so we gotta get out. Dahmer jump out. Nipsey didn't want to fade. Ghost. He didn't want to get out with Dahmer. Boy, Eddie Boy was telling I get out with him. They lock up. Boom, 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 boom. Eddie Boy whooped Dahmer. Knock his tooth out, all that. Dahmer come back smoking. Right? Kill him. Behind him. Right? Dahmer go to jail for the body. They questioning Nipsey. And Nipsey said, anybody somebody do something to me, or somebody come up dead, Dahmer did it, or they snatched Dahmer. Big U had that record and used that to make the move. That's when you seen all the victory lap. But Nipsey was playing his hand. Somebody was gonna go one way or another. This a fact.
Check this out. Nipsey knew Cousin Kerry was on parole. Eric Carter showed.
So the motherfucking Whack 100, he clearly talking about an open case and telling all the business right there. That's, you know, that, for him to spill all that shit online is a whole nother motherfucking ball game. But logically, that makes only sense of why Eric Holder is asking Nip, did you snitch though? You know what I mean? Like, where did you even get the inclination from? Where did you even get that information? And you know, I hate to even breathe on that topic right there because, you know, it's slanderous to Nip though, right? But you know, at the end of the day, I don't know Nip, right? I don't know him like Jay Stone or any of his closest people. So, you know, hypothetically, I can rock with it to a degree. You know what I mean? I can't put nothing past a human being. Any human being is fallible, in my opinion. I don't think they're, as much as a motherfucker want to, you know what I mean, romanticize how good and great they are. You know, everybody make flaws. Everybody got some shit going on to a degree. I mean, shit, anything's possible, but you know, you never know.
Shirtless, gang tats and all. So really, Nipsey was looking out for Cousin Kerry when Eric Holder popped up. He wasn't saying, no, go handle that like Cowboy said. He was saying, yo, you gotta go. You gotta get out of here because Cousin Kerry's there on parole. And
So go digger. We gonna touch on this after this video because it's about to end here in a second. But you're right though, and this is the kicker though, because I'm gonna tap in with another quick brief video at the end of this one about this, because for her to get that immunity and then tell him that, and then, you know, why did she get immunity? You know what I mean? Why is she get immunity when she did all that shit? You know, see him he was loading the pistol, he was loading up the semi-automatic right in front of her, verbatim from her. You know, great point though. Great point.
he's going back in. So he's just telling Eric Holder, hey, you gotta go. Somebody told Eric Holder that Nipsey was a snitch. Hey, don't let Nipsey talk to you like that. You know he's a snitch too, right? I got the recording. And Cowboy walks in at the perfect time, right? 3 seconds, right? He just walked in like everything was cool, right? Big U shows up too, right? He said Eric was helping out with the pose, upping it on people. He wasn't a threat. Yeah. See, but that's not enough for the setup. I don't think Big U is smart enough for that. There's another entity involved. Y'all guess who it is. See, Nip was supposed to have a meeting that following day with the LAPD. He's been getting harassed for years. The LAPD has been trying to run him out. I mean, Cowboy know this.
We had a couple. You know, we had cops that would roll by. We policed ourselves, you know. When Nipsey was living, we didn't have no violence in the parking lot. You know, if there was some, we controlled it ourselves and we'd take care of it. So the police had no reason to be there. So if they did come in the parking lot, they came, you know, to either somebody or mess with the homies. I remember Nipsey had a warrant one time, and the police had pulled up in there, and it was a Maybach parked right there. So they asked us, whose Maybach is that? We're like, man, we don't have no idea who Maybach is that. But they thought we were lying. They're like, that ain't Nipsey Maybach? We're like, no, that ain't Nip Maybach. We don't know whose it is. Them motherfuckers told it. So they go get the Maybach and they told it. So the next day, Nip pulled up in his Maybach. Bam, they rush him. You know what I mean? They towed the car, said he had a warrant, you know, took him to jail. So he went to jail, but in the process of that, he got the tickets cleared up. He had a show in Japan, and he was able to go do the show. So everything they did to over us, it turned out to be to the good. Nipsey would call the landlord and ask him could they buy the building. Landlord kept saying no, we don't want to sell. We don't want to sell. So Nipsey and them would call him, keep calling, said no, we want to buy the building. We want to buy the building. So the police kept calling the landlord as well. And they kept telling him, kick him out the building, kick him out the building. There's only 8 buildings, I think 8 units in that building. And at the time we occupied 6 of them. So he's trying to get us, the police were trying to get us kicked out of the building. And then another incident that happened, I think the homies had boop bops in the parking lot. They called the owner
and said, look, you got to get him out of there. Owner called back and said, you know what, we're going to sell it.
Even the former member of the LAPD said it could be possible. He wouldn't put it past them.
Do you think that
This
there
is
could
it.
have been more people involved with Nipsey's death? Maybe even perhaps law enforcement? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I think that there could have been. I've never witnessed any. I've never witnessed any law enforcement officers say if there was something going on or even alluded to it. But there's that possibility. We know a lot of the positive things he was doing in the community. So there's definitely that possibility that they were that determined to stop what he had going on. That they probably could have sent Eric, what's his last name?
Holder Jr.
to go and do that. And I think also they said that he was an informant for law enforcement, and that was I think that was a part of the issue that he had with Nipsey Hussle.
Allegedly.
Did y'all just hear what he said though? This is a motherfucking cop right here. He said that originally Eric Holder was an informant, potentially, right? He was an informant. The motherfucker. So the piggyback on what he said right here. Like I said, I'm not pointing no fingers at Big U, but this is Big U does get paid by the GRID program, and we all know the GRID program works with the LAPD, works with the government, and the GRID program is they call, let the police know when there's gang activity. They supposed to be the police of the police in the hood though, so the police don't gotta come to the hood to do it. So they policing to a degree. They get a check to do all that shit. Now, who gets all that information though? Where all these gangs and who's all talking to who? This goes into a motherfucking system, you know what I mean, that compiles all this shit right here. So yeah, I mean he does. I mean you got to think, and this is the LAPD, right? Even with the shit like with Kendrick Lamar, right? That Kendrick Lamar shit that got spray painted over by the T flats, right? For all we know, that could have been the police. The Pyrus just had a peace walk. So why? You know what I mean? Of course, I would never trust that the LAPD wants to see, the motherfucking, they'd be out of a job if there wasn't no motherfuckers being active in the street. What is the LAPD gonna do? They'd be out of a job. There's no crime. So we know for a fact, especially in the heyday of gangbanging, that the police used to do drive-by shootings, used to drop rags out, used to hit other sides. I mean, like the Rampart scandal, the police, especially the LAPD, is crooked as fuck. And that's where my hang up with Alex Alonso is, right? Like I get it. He's coming from the motherfucking, from the bleachers, right? He was in the courtroom. He's seen all the testimony. He's talked to the detectives, knows the detectives well. But for me to believe that the motherfucking LAPD is really there doing their job, man, that's hard. That's a hard buy for me. Very hard for me to buy into that.
So we don't know. We don't know what kind of what was going on behind those closed doors. It could have just been that it was a bad day for Eric Holder, and he was mad, or there could have been something deeper behind it.
Cowboy didn't even give it a second thought before dismissing it, even though he knew how dirty they were. Something don't seem right.
Any comment on that?
Nah, say for instance the police did that. Ain't you gonna try to get away? So if the police gave you some bread and go do that, you're gonna put a mask on, you're gonna run around, handle your business and get away. So if you in it for the money, you're gonna try to go spend the money. Cuz was just hide and
So what he just said, let's hear that one more time right there. So he's saying if a motherfucker would have did it,
ain't you gonna try to get away? So if the police gave you some bread and go do that, you're gonna put a mask on, you're gonna run around, handle.
So this is where Black Sam's interview comes in my opinion, right here, where he said he was paranoid when he got in the parking lot, right? He should have just he should have did what he's supposed to do originally there and just did his thing, but he was nervous, or he motherfucking whatever it was, he had to peep the scene, he had to check it out. And that's where I get the narrative that this motherfucker pulls up, he buys some chili cheese fries, motherfucking shakes everybody's hands, he checking temperature, he don't buy no drink at the same time. The motherfucker's high, like he's saying, he would have never ate the food, though. You know what I mean? And if he was high, like that would have been another red flag. Never let this motherfucker even get close like that. But that's why, you got to remember when Eric Holder got arrested, right? He was on the run for a day or two, right? He was, and then he turned himself into a mental institution that he had already had like some previous history at. He had a counselor there or some shit, right? So if he was going to try to get away, he already knew he fucked up though. He knew motherfuckers knew who he was he already fucked it up, but he did it though, right? He did it. And then he gets into court. Now he's got OJ Simpson's motherfucking part of his lawyer was part of OJ Simpson's prosecuting team or some shit like that. Prestigious lawyer. How does that work? Who funded that though? Who had the bread to fund that though? If he's just Eric Cole is just a regular rat off the streets, how that work? Please tell me how that work.
Listen, get away. So if you in it for the money, you're gonna try to go spend the money. Cuz was just high and he tripped out. You know, it has something to do with that CD. You know, he had jumped out earlier, like a day before that, and he asked the homie, like, it's a homie named Felony. He introduced me to Nipsey. That's when he introduced me and brought Nip to my studio, introduced me to Nip. You know what I mean? He was the first. I had Felony in the studio, and I had seen Nip, but he's the first one that brought Nip to me. You know what I mean? So Felly fell. Eric had jumped out and asked him to check out this disc. Like, man, I got my new disc. Did you hear it? And Brian was like, no, I ain't heard it, but he said he had the 2 pistols with him. And he told me, I learned this during the murder trial. He had popped up one day during the murder trial. So he said, man, I felt if I wouldn't have listened to this disc, this would do something to me. So he said, I listened to the disc. So then after all this played out, and as I think back, I remember when he was talking to me and Nip, after Nip was like, take care of that shit. He was like, man, y'all heard my disc. And we like, get it? Huh?
And check this out. And for those that still got their memory, the day Nipsey died, we got them notifications early. I remember like tweets going around that Nipsey was shot, and it was early in the afternoon, but it wasn't confirmed till later in the day. Y'all don't want to hear this, but you sweet.
No, you right about that one right there, King, on some real shit though. He could have did that for some promo, get his name out there. But remember how quick he canceled that shit though. He was in fear for his life though, right? He started getting threats, so he got off the caseload real quick. So I mean, that is a possibility. Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. And I feel you right there too. See, literally anybody. And this is supposed to be his big G right here though. This Cowboy. I mean, like it shouldn't be, but. In my opinion, though, I think Cowboy lives with the regret. I don't think Cowboy had a hand in it, though. I don't really believe that. I feel like he lives with a lot of regret for not acting as he should have, and I think that's why he went ahead and testified and did all that shit right there, because he knows he fucked up though, and that's a lot of regret to live with. To know the what if you would have been on top of it, maybe Nip would still be here. That's a heavy burden. In my opinion, that's one of the heaviest burdens a man could carry through here, knowing somebody that you loved and had love for and so forth, that you motherfucking let him get knocked off this earth by a jealous motherfucker. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I can see it from all sides though, for sure.
Church might owe loose an apology on information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
Wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yeah.
You panic, call Nip. Nip answer the phone.
Yeah,
you like
just talking on regular. So it's like at the end of the day, I didn't even think about his cousin Carrie and Cowboy testified that they arrived and everything happened around 1 p.m.
Do you recall approximately what time you arrived at the store? No, about around 1. Around 1? Something like that. It was in the afternoon, right? Yeah.
You know, I have no idea, but it had to be around lunchtime because I had just ordered my lunch. So I normally take my lunch. Around 1, so I'm not really sure of the exact time though.
Now the official time of his death was 3:07 p.m. There's one thing that could solve that problem: the missing camera footage from the store when Cowboy was working that day. But now all of a sudden, Cowboy don't know what happened to it. He's not talking. Come on, what we doing, Cowboy? You selective snitching now? I mean, if you're gonna snitch for Nip, go all the way. Or maybe was it just a front?
The only tape is that gas station tape. So, the gas station, we had cameras in the store, but it was to watch the parking lot. It wasn't to watch the employees. It wasn't to watch people stealing. We didn't have that problem. We didn't have no worry about nobody stealing nothing. It was more or less, we need to watch the parking lot, make sure the police ain't doing nothing stupid, make sure homies ain't out there fighting. You know, when you're just sitting in your shop and you're in the back room, you need to look out and see what's going on out on Slauson, what's going on, you know. So anytime something goes down in the neighborhood, what the police gonna do? They're gonna go to the closest shop and say, we need to look at your tapes.
Yeah.
So we never had tapes.
Fuck happened to the audio?
Sweethearts might owe Luce an apology. Wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
Wait. You get a call from Big U.
We never had tapes. There's so much crime that happened, you know,
happening at 1 p.m. and now y'all switching it up to 3 p.m. Cowboy looked like he saw a ghost reading this message. And you know the LAPD recently has admitted they had secret investigations on Nip and his whole crew, especially around the area of the Marathon store. They've been trying to get him out for years. And the saddest part about this, and Nipsey knew he had a lot of jealousy and envy around him, he still stuck around long enough for them to kill him.
The pressure of people intentionally waking up to try to bring harm your way. You know what I mean? Trying to stop you from doing that. Because if I grew up on the same block you grew up on, and we had the same trials and tribulations, but you became successful and I became a failure, it made me feel a certain way about myself. Because we had the same, we dealt the same day cause. You know what I mean? So I feel like my success affects the people closest to me the most. A person that don't know me might look for me. You know what I mean? And be happy for me. The person that know me and come from the same environment, had the same core dealt in, that keep going to jail, don't have no money, never made their parents proud, or their mama proud, never did anything that they could look in the mirror and be proud of. You know what I mean?
Straight evil. Man, I knew something was up. Did they Cowboy took Nipsey's mural down?
Oh, you know what I mean? That's my friend. That's my friend.
Now, Nip had to know he's surrounded by jealousy though. At all time, he had to know he was surrounded by all kind of envious, jealous motherfuckers. But that's the game though, motherfucker play when you elevate, especially when you stay right there in the hood though. That's part of the equation right there. You know what I mean? That's why, like, even with the situation with him dealing with Big U, if Big U was extorting him, or like Black Sam said in the interview, you know, motherfuckers was feeling some kind of way about Khaled being there, right? Like, this is a power game. This is like a chess game in my eyes. It's like a mental game, because you can't just declare war on that type of shit. You know what I mean? You gotta move strategically. This is the debate I was having with Young Ant in the one video, the non-affiliate video, because, you know, he thought it was some open and shut case shit too. But, you know, I can get where motherfuckers see that, but you gotta remember, man, motherfucker, Nip ain't no dumb motherfucker though. We can see that without even knowing him, that the man was wise though. You know, he had to move strategically. He knew he was around a bunch of jealous, envious motherfuckers, period.
Me to have to cover it up, it hurt me.
Yeah, but how you take Nipsey's mural down and leave yours up?
You see murals everywhere. I get right here, I'm like, why do he got a mural? Why you got Cowboy? But y'all would put anything on the wall. Like,
oh, nah. Let me know what you guys think, man. Am I tripping? Or do you guys see the same thing I see? Oh, no, we're not done yet. Hey, remember Big U said he had nothing to do with Fats, right? He was out of town. Well, Brick said, don't tell Cowboy about that Fat situation, or he'll tell him that too.
R.I.P. Fats. I'm 6'0". Don't tell nobody about how to tell. I'm 6'0". Don't tell Cowboy about the Fats, because he'll around the tail.
Hey, what I found out after this, it might be the nail in the coffin. I don't know. You guys might want to stick around. Subscribe, like, comment.
Now, that's a cold shot by Brick right there. Brick said, don't tell him about the Fat situation. Remember, Cowboy been calling Brick out for the fade for a long time, and ain't none of them ever did nothing, right? But to say, yeah, hey, Toxic Media did their thing. They pulled all these motherfucking clips right here, because, yeah, that surely don't help the situation with Big U by a man bit.
Stay tuned. Let's get it.
Yeah, I can't listen to that rap. You know, Cowboy ain't really I don't think he really, I don't think he had no future in rapping. But she said, I'm thinking that no one is perfect but Nip, and his elevation was surrounded by many snakes, frenemies, and hate on many levels. Let's talk about that. Many levels. That shit run hella deep. Now, this is the last little video I'm gonna put up on here, and I'm gonna call it a wrap. But this is the one. This is the one with the getaway driver, right? This ain't gonna be motherfucking Alex Alonso being able to motherfucking strike me on this shit right here, because this is his interview, but it's on a whole nother motherfucking channel, so ain't gotta worry about getting no motherfucking strike, none of that shit. So we're gonna go ahead and peep this one real quick.
Bernita Nicholson testified for most of day 4. So one of the interesting things that she said on day 4, Bernita Nicholson, was that there was tension during that conversation between Eric Holder and Nipsey Hussle. And that's kind of goes against what Cowboy was saying. Mm-hmm. And she actually didn't really remember certain things about that conversation. So there's a video of Bernita Nicholson getting interrogated back in 2019 in the police room when her memory is fresher, when things had just happened. And she did say that Eric Holder was messy. He was being a little bit confrontational, and there was a lot of tension, and Nipsey didn't like it. And that came out on the second day of her testifying.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so Eric was confrontational with Nipsey?
She did say Eric was slightly confrontational. I'm not sure if she used the word confrontational, but she used the word tension. Because remember, this is a 4-minute conversation that took place between Eric Holder and Nipsey in the presence of Rimpaw and Cowboy. Mm-hmm. She only got the tail end of the conversation, Bernita. She came in, if you time the amount of time that Bernita is in this group while this conversation is going on, it comes out to 53 seconds.
Right.
So, she only got maybe, that's about 20% of the whole conversation. So she missed 80% of it. But in her recollection, not only was there a snitch conversation and the word snitch was used, she says there was a part where Eric Holder calls Nipsey Hussle a snitch. Now, I thought that was interesting because if you read the grand jury transcript, that's actually in there. Mm. But I always thought it was a typo. I always thought the transcriber, the court reporter, may have gotten it wrong because they make mistakes all the time in these transcripts.
Right.
So she actually said that Eric Holder, in addition to, I guess, Nipsey Hussle's allegation towards him, he was saying, "Are you a snitch?" and putting the blame on Nipsey.
So there we go, right there, motherfucking to a grand jury. She said they was both calling each other. They was going back and forth right there, right? And she only caught that in 50-some seconds of being there. So we don't never hear that piece of the equation come out of motherfucking Cowboy. But yet, Black Sam said in his motherfucking interview, he said something along the lines of something to be revealed down the road, or maybe it was something like that. He alluded to, the conversation there, something more to it, you know what I mean? And so this is where anybody can fill in the blanks. You could take the Jay Stone shit and fill it in there. You could take the Big U extortion tape of what Wax said. You could take all this shit and fit it into that narrative. But clearly, old girl heard that shit and she testified to that shit. And Alex here, he just said that at first he thought it was a motherfucking flaw, a typo, right? But yet it really was real though. Facts, big facts. It really was legit.
Kind of interesting as well.
Okay. And did she say anything about Nipsey reaction? Was he confrontational at all?
She didn't say Nipsey was confrontational, but Nipsey was her word was standoffish. Mm-hmm. She didn't like the way Eric Holder was coming at him, and he was very standoffish and kind of giving him the cold shoulder. And she said something to the effect like, you could tell Nipsey didn't want him here.
Wow.
So if old girl, right, she don't know she don't know nobody at this motherfucking thing but Eric Holder, right? If she can pick up on that right there, she could pick up on the vibe that even Nip didn't want him there. Why the fuck Cowboy ain't pick up on that shit? Why ain't Rimpar pick up on that shit? Why the motherfucking closest motherfuckers in his proximity ain't pick up on that shit and have this motherfucker move around though? You know what I mean? If they see in the conversation even going in that manner, why that ain't an issue? You know what I mean? We just saw this shit with Cowboy. He ready to fight. He talking about motherfuckers need to pull up. You know, if somebody disrespect him, he ready. He done socked out motherfuckers from his own hood. Like, where was this energy at though? Where was this shit at when old girl, even old girls seen the shit like this? And Nip is the prize though, right? Nip is the bag though. Nip is to be protected at all costs right here. He feeding everybody in that parking lot. Everybody that's fucking there. He gotta help and further in their success. And yet motherfucking nothing. You know, that's the shit they give me right there. That shit. Now I want to read this. Now this right here is accurate as fuck though. Gold digger, definitely a crooked line. Nothing straight about the LAPD. Facts. Allegedly Bay Area drug rings. Yeah, you got to remember. So COINTELPRO, you know, the police flooded South Central LA with guns and cocaine and all that shit. Like, you know, there's so much more than meets the eye. And I mean, we go down a rabbit hole and be here all night. We get on that topic right there. But yeah, it's cats and robbers, right? It's motherfucking police and robbers. You know what I mean? It's a money producing asset right here to have crime keep going and think about the prison factor and think about all the pieces and who's behind the prisons, the stockholders, who benefits. You guys follow the money trail. You know what I mean? But let's tap this video real quick. It ain't that long.
What you think about that?
It seems like it could have been something some tension that beforehand. You know, that's what it seems like.
Yeah, there's definitely some history between these two guys, and we got to remember that going back to Cowboy's testimony, as soon as he was driving into the parking lot, Nipsey asked Rimpar, "Is that Shitty Cuz?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's him." So they definitely got a history, Nipsey and Eric Holder.
Right. Well, what that history is only.
Now, this is another reason I call cap on old boy's video about Eric Holder. You know, acting like he didn't really know him and so forth. BH, everybody, and here you go right here. Everybody said these motherfuckers grew up. They've got history. They know each other. Just motherfucking Eric Holder been distant, right? He been in Long Beach. He got some smut on his name or some shit's going on. And he been distant. And then now out of nowhere, he pulled up from Long Beach. They want to go to the Slauson Mall. And old girl, they never went there. You know what I mean? They pull up to the Marathon store. He getting chili cheese fries. You know what I mean? Like, too many gaps in all this shit right here. That's why I can't open and close this shit so easily, even though this is a closed case, right? Shit, and let it be what it is. But the justice for Nip shit with Big U and all this shit is like unexplainable though. It doesn't, there's no logical explanations for all this shit to be just open and shut type of shit for me though.
Because Eric can tell us, and Nip can't tell his side because
Well, I think that Cowboy knows a little bit more of their history, but that wasn't asked of him. They did ask him on day one and day two of testimony, how long have you known Eric? And he admitted, I've known them since they were all young, since he got out of prison in 2003. So he saw all these guys as teenagers.
Wow.
Cowboy definitely knows if there's some history. And then, of course, the man that everyone wants to talk to is Rimpar, which he was supposed to be there for day 5. But in terms of day 4, the defense attorney definitely cross-examined him for a long time and really trying to just show that Eric Holder was a nice guy. You liked Eric Holder. You were interested in Eric Holder. You paid for all the dates. Did he ever do anything threatening to you? Nothing was negative about this guy up until that day. But of course, you got to remember they only was hanging out for 1 month. Isn't that in 1 month everything's supposed to go good? Anyways, it better go good in the first. If your relationship with someone is not going good in the first month, that's a red flag.
Right.
you can tell by the testimony she actually liked the guy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And what else did she say? Did she reveal anything critical that you think we should know?
Not really, except I think that when she was testifying, she didn't really talk about the tension that was there between Eric and Nipsey until they played the video of her being interrogated by the LAPD back in 2019.
Now, did y'all just hear that, right? Did y'all hear that though? So let's not miss that piece of the equation. She didn't bring up that shit right there because she got immunity. So now she's got a new narrative to a degree. But then they hit her. The prosecution hit her with, do you remember that you had this conversation a year ago? And she said she don't remember it, but they've got it recorded though. And then this is the one where she's like, yeah, he was being kind of messy. He was being tense. He called Nip a snitch. So, once she gets immunity, the motherfucking, the tension part ain't really there, so forth. But, this is the thing right here, for sure. I mean, there's all kinds of shit that goes on with he was supposed to jump in front of the facts on this one right here. I mean, shit, he should have just got off right then and there as soon as they seen some tension. You know what I mean? He could, Cowboy being the motherfucking fighter he is, why he ain't slide him right there? Why you let the man, like, old girl seen the tension? That's the fucked up piece of the equation. You feel me? But yeah, there's a very dark, sinister connection to Nips unalivement. It was case closed to a man who was on the rise. Yeah, facts. Well, it's easy to sweep it under the rug, though. It's easy just to say, okay, he did it like this. Motherfuckers, a low-level peon type of rat, you know what I mean? He did that and but Nip was a high-profile figure, though. Motherfuckers been wanting to knock this motherfucker off, and this was prime time. They got this motherfucker slipping, no pistol, no security, nobody following protocol. Like, come on, that shit just don't be. In my opinion, when Sloan Bella saw the heavy-set black guy balding, smoking a cigar, it was Big U. See, I thought that too, but she, fucked me up about that piece of the equation, thinking it was Sloan Bella. Now, she said she knew who Big U was, and he wasn't a rapper, and he was prominent in the music. How does Sloan Bella said she didn't even know who Nipsey Hussle really was until she did the reading and shit. So for her to be able to recognize Big U, I think that's what fucked it up for me. She ain't got that history to recognize Big U. Now she could know something more commercial like Khaled or some shit. You feel me? That's at least my take on it right there. And once again, where was old boy's comment at? He had a good one. I don't want to skip your other one. Well, if that was the case, Nip should have known to call the guns because they beat his ass a week ago. But Nip must have known that though, because he motherfucking, as soon as they seen him pull in, he was like, damn, I wonder how that's gonna go after. They like, is that shitty cuz? Nip like, I wonder how that's gonna go. So I mean, they already knew that shit though. Everybody's antennas should have been up to a degree. Nip's antennas was up. I don't think he realized the motherfucker was gonna kill some shit. But you remember when Nip got shot, the first thing he told, they said Eric Holder testified or something, I forget where the information came from, but he was like, after Nip got shot and fell to the ground, he was like, okay, you got me. And then the motherfucker finished him off and then kicked him though. I feel like, I think, because remember, Eric Holder never testified for himself, right? So I think that's what he told his attorney, and that's what his attorney, if I'm correct, I could be wrong on that, but I know I've heard that part when Nip was on the ground supposedly, and that's what he said. He said he was like, had his hands up to a degree. He's like, you got me, and then motherfucker unloaded the second one into him. So, there's so much shit going on with that. You know what I mean? He said, I grew up around left, yeah, naked, big time, big motherfucking time.
She was much more animated. She was much more detailed. So, I understand people aren't going to remember everything, but there's a video, and that's going to become public, of her whole interrogation. Her whole 4.5, 5 hours of being interrogated is going to become public. And in that interrogation, that's when she said that.
Now that video is never, to this day, has never, ever became. It's never came out though. This is an old video of Alex Alonso. Believe me, Alex Alonso would have published that shit. He was the one to publish the minute-long clip of her talking about that shit. Now, that's the only clip that came out of that interview that she originally did. Then she got immunity, and then her mother, that whole, in my opinion, the whole narrative kind of changed. Some people can debate that with me, fair enough, but she surely wasn't being about the tension and the conversation in that sense right there, because Eric Holder's whole defense was that motherfucking, this was a passionate crime, that he got called snitch and motherfucking, he got called it, and then he motherfucking came back and shot, and that's why he didn't get that shit, because they're like, damn, this motherfucker left, came back, like you had plenty of time. And you know, for her to talk about she'd seen the motherfucker loading the gun in the parking lot after the conversation, and then she gets immunity still, like that shit. How the fuck does that make sense? That shit don't make sense.
There was a lot of tension in that. When she walked up, she can sense and feel all the tension going on between Nipsey Hussle and Eric Holder.
Right. Wow. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah. Now, I can't wait to see that shit my motherfucking self. You know, honestly, I can't wait to see that shit myself. It still ain't came out after all these years. Old girl got immunity. She's wiped off the internet. She probably in another motherfucking state under a new identity. You know, nobody's none the wiser to her. Meanwhile, you know, here we are. We left the fans. We left here to motherfucking think about what if and could be. And none of this shit even came to reality until his own brother, Black Sam, said it. So, you know, for me to discredit his own brother, and especially after all these years, I think he's just emotionally topped it up. He's just like, you know, he can't see right. I think Black Sam's had plenty of time to motherfucking think this through logically, look at all this shit. You know, he's strategic to a degree that he didn't want to say too much, but he said enough. You know, and he ain't came back to clean up none of that shit. He ain't made another interview. None of that shit has happened. But the pieces of the puzzle are on the board for the motherfuckers that want to try to put the pieces together. You know what I mean? Some motherfuckers could care less. You know, let him rest, let him do his thing. But you know, may Nipsey Hussle rest in peace, though. You know what I mean? By no disrespect do I ever do these videos that, you know what I mean, tarnish the man or invoke his spirit in a negative manner. But you know, there's something so much more to the equation than what meets the eye, in my opinion. So that's why I still be tapping in on it. So, you know, that's my feedback on this shit right here. Do I think old boy really got Nipsey Hussle, Eric Holder's contact? You know, time will tell. Maybe he's gonna get some more information and make some more videos, but I don't know. Out of all the videos, all the people to touch bases with, and for that to be that, it's not enough for me to motherfucking call it anything valid. But it was worth the 5 minutes of fame for today. That's for sure. I was, you know what I mean? I paid a little bit of heed, but let me read these comments and then I'm gonna tap out on this right here. So she say, based on what Nip said, everybody should have been on high alert. Facts. Shit, he came from a whole different direction from behind on foot. That was too easy, yeah. And he was, and if he was provoked in the parking lot, like nobody was on alert for that shit. No, they should have been on alert as soon as he came in the parking lot, though, right? So okay, so did Nip and others know Eric Holder was going to be at the marathon that day? Hell nah. I mean, if Eric Holder hadn't been around the hood for some time, allegedly, wouldn't there be more of a surprise when Eric Holder pulled up? Yeah, it was a surprise. That's why Nip and all them was like, you know what I mean? But you know, Nip. Supposedly Eric Holder hadn't been around for quite a while, got some smut on his name, and everybody says nobody really knew Nip was going to be at that store other than Kerry Latham. Everybody says Nip showed up that day for Kerry Latham randomly, because usually, you know, but protocol was whenever he get there, you know what I mean, motherfucker should be, you know, in the motherfucking doorway, the whole nine. So, you know, how Eric Holder knew Nip was up there, some people just say it's by chance. You know, he just happened to run into him. It happened to be by chance. But a piece in this interview with Alex Alonso, the getaway driver, said that she stopped before they went to the marathon store and Eric Holder talked to some friends for like 2 to 3 minutes. Those friends have never been discussed. None of that has ever been a focal point. Now, who or what, that could be a piece of the equation. Remember, I'm just making food for thought right here on this one right here. But you know, there's pieces that could be linked in there easily. In my opinion, Big U has always been a thorough individual. People have no clue about the RSC hood by law, Lil Fee, pre-whack, and you are a factor. This is a U hater slandering his name. Now, I'm not trying to slander Big U. Like I said, I don't know if the man has a hand in this shit or not, though. You know what I mean? I have no motherfucking idea. All I'm doing is just taking the motherfucking food for thought. Now, that's some hood politics that only Cali can be on top of that shit. Because the little Fee that I know of, he was a murderer, a straight murderer. He was killing all kinds of motherfuckers. I don't know about Pretty Whack. You know, those are, you know, that's a whole nother ball game right there. And I can't touch that shit with a 10-foot pole by no means. Just too easy for him to get somebody with Nip. Facts. With his status, people should have been had his back. Yeah, you know what I'm about to do though, you know, on some real shit. See, I'm gonna catch Cowboy shit. I'm gonna catch his live, and I'm gonna call up in that shit, or I'm gonna try to get him on this shit. And I like to have a conversation with him. I didn't even throw him a little bag for that shit. I would gladly, but I mean, regardless of a motherfucking interview him at this point, we all see that the story been all over the fucking place. So I mean, that's kind of like, you feel me? Like, I just want to know though, if you knew that this motherfucker had issues the day before and the motherfucking nipping himself, like, why wasn't that? I want to hear that piece of the equation because I ain't heard that. That piece I ain't heard. That's one of the pieces I have not heard. Slum Bella didn't say it was Big U. She said she knew some rappers. I think she thought it was Suge Knight. Facts. I've seen some other motherfucking people say Suge Knight. She said he has really dark energy. He's a bully. I think he's a rapper. Now you got to remember though, a lot of the motherfuckers in the entertainment industry have dark energy. You know what I mean? A lot of the entertainers, rappers. You got to remember, motherfuckers in Hollywood and all that shit right there. These ain't utmost standing people. Like, these motherfuckers is there for money, and what motherfuckers will do for money is anything. They cross their brother. Like the Bible say, that a man will transgress against his own brother for a piece of bread. So imagine if they gonna get the world handed to them. Imagine what they do for the big bag, though. Imagine what they do. I think they got no limits, right? Sometimes we all look alike to other folks. Yeah. Carry the missing link. I mean, he could play a piece of the equation. I mean, shit, supposedly he Nip up there for him, but he already got the gear. What, 7 weeks ago? He motherfucking his daughter had got the shit, right? So I don't know. Not to mention, you know what I mean? Big U silly knockoff marathon. So the Cowboy, you know what I mean? Everybody been selling knockoff. You know what I mean? See, I appreciate you rocking with me, bro. I appreciate you. You've been in here the whole time. I appreciate you fucking with the channel. Much love. I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't think Cowboy could be asking that much, but I think I'm gonna give him a call in because I'll be seeing when he has his lives. I just ain't. Last one I caught, it was going like right off. He was talking about Nina Boy and the peace treaty and all that shit. I ain't want to get involved on that shit. I want to catch it when it's a clear opening though. But I definitely got my antennas up. I'm gonna try to lock in on that one because I mean we surely want some motherfucking answers. You feel me? But Lathan, Big U, Shitty, I was all. I think that a lot of motherfuckers could have been in and on the play. I mean, shit, it's unfortunate though. Either way it is, the shit that just fucks me up though is that final kick though. That kick was personal as a motherfucker though. You feel me? That kick, that's the only piece of the shit that fucks me up though. Like, if it was just a motherfucking hit, but it could be the deep seated hatred he had at Nip for a long time. Because you got to think about Nip rising up all them years and motherfuckers just sitting back, they shaking his hand, they cool with him all the time, but inside of them, they really got hatred for him. You know what I mean? They like, hate this motherfucker. Like Nip said, motherfuckers grew up, they had the same 24 hours, the same time, energy, and motherfuckers advanced and, left some motherfuckers behind. Everybody can't go, right? And unfortunately, when in those situations right there, when you evolving and you going up ranks, that invoke, feelings out of your peers that they don't even realize that they can't even control. Everybody's not so in control of themselves. You know what I mean? But they, like the word facade, right? If you look at the root word of facade, it means the mask one wears on stage. And you think about motherfuckers that be shaking your hand a lot of times when you really doing something with your life. They got a facade. They got that mask on stage and they shaking your hand. They dapping you up. They doing all that shit. But inside, they feel a whole nother kind of way, though. You feel me? They put, you know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, shit. I'll be willing to tap in with them. Yeah, I'll be willing to, if you can plug me with that, April, shoot me a little message on Instagram or something like that. Let me know. I'm gonna just call the number. He be having a little number scrolling at the bottom and shit. So I'm a motherfucking, I'm gonna try to tap in like that. I mean, shit, he had hated Nip too. That's why he was with the hit. Yeah, And like Black Sam said, I think he was supposed to do that shit and motherfucking get up out of there the first time he was there. He was never supposed to motherfucking get in that parking lot, be there for all that time, and that's where the ball got dropped, and that's the piece of the equation. He was never they were supposed to never know who it was, right? Red shirt, all that shit. They was never supposed to know who that was. He's supposed to do that shit and get on and be on to the next one. Now, he fucked up because he was paranoid. He pulled up in the parking lot. He want to see who's all there. He want to check it out. And that's where he fucked up, in my opinion, right there. If it is more to the equation than just meets the eye, though. You feel me? You're right. The kid was pure hate. Facts. Yeah, big facts. Big facts. Yeah, the red shirt though. He was supposed to, he was never. And she said she ain't see him with that shirt when he got in the car. She ain't see the guns. So if he got in the car, he's got a revolver and a pocket full of bullets because she said that he was pulling the bullets out of his pocket and loading the semi-automatic up. So he had either had the bullets in one pocket with a gun and then another one in his back pocket. And then he had the red shirt in his back pocket, and she didn't see it because she said she on her phone when he jumped in the car. That's what she tell the police. That's her testimony. So if he get in the car, she don't see none of that shit, but yet he still got the shit on him. He came there to knock some shit down though. He definitely. I mean, if you riding with one pistol is one thing, right? I get that. Every motherfucker ride through the hood, one pistol, that's mandatory, right? But you got two pistols on you, right? You got a revolver, a revolver. Remember that shit don't leave no shell casings. You could put in work with a revolver and get up out of it. Revolvers are the best pistols to do some dirt with, even though they only got X amount of bullets in them because they ain't leaving no shell casings. The semi-automatic, on the other hand, you want to leave the shell casings. My opinion, he fucked up. He got up in that motherfucking paranoid. You know what I mean? Maybe, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking out loud though. You feel me? I mean, it could be anything though. It really could. Why the getaway driver hold her off after hitting a live nip and then pick him up and take him to her mama's house to the motel. So I asked Alex Alonso this shit right here because I was like, if she's not, because he don't refer to her as the getaway driver, right? Because she wasn't the accessory and she was never charged. She was given immunity. So technically she wasn't. So, he asked me like this. This is what he asked me. He said, now if you in the car and a motherfucker you just heard some gunshots and a motherfucker jump in your car, are you going to be argumentative with him? And that's what old girl was. She didn't want to be arguing and said he's going to slap her or some shit. So she just shut up and went on about it because everybody's trying to paint her as the motherfucking dumb, ditzy. She's just a, you know what I mean? Little thought, right? She's just a dumb thought, basically, right? Motherfucking had his way with her, motherfucking so forth, so forth. And then she took him to the house. He stayed over the night. Motherfucking, he didn't want to go home because his crib was dirty. So he asked to get a motel. So, personally, I mean, I think if it was anybody else, motherfucker loading the bullets up in the thing, you told the motherfucker no drive-bys in my car. Hey, that right there. And then you park, you went down the street, parked, waited, heard the gunshots, picked the motherfucker up. But yeah, she got immunity. She got immunity because immediately, supposedly, she just started working with the police, and she was like, "Okay, you go to my mom's house. You can look at that. You can look at my phone. Here's my phone." She was willing and cooperative immediately. She never gave up any resistance. She didn't even invoke her Miranda rights. Never at all. She just immediately just turned over everything, and that's part of the reason supposedly she got immunity, to my understanding. Sam had it right that he came through there, scope it out, and then came back with the red shirt. That's weird as fuck. I bet. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it gotta mean something. Clearly, it's a disguise. I mean, shit. Why he didn't just come back with the flag on his neck like he was when he was there though? Like, why not? Why you need to put the T-shirt on now? I mean, why the T-shirt now? Why you had a T-shirt on originally? So to me, it makes it like he already had what he needed to do. When he needed to do it, he just didn't execute correctly. And now it's like, you know what I mean? In my opinion, that red shirt was supposed to be a cover, but Nip recognized him, so he was F it, won't everybody know it was him. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. And if you watch that surveillance tape when the cars pull in, you gotta remember, like, it's a packed ass motherfucking all the parking spots was taken, but when they pulled in, he sat in the car for a little minute, right? He sat in the car for a little minute. And I asked Alex, I was like, so why she didn't get no food with him? I mean, they driving all the way from Long Beach, right? Why she ain't get no food? Why he ain't get her no food? And he like, well, she was an Uber driver and she had ate lunch earlier, so she didn't want any food. Because to me, it's like, okay, if you're gonna get some food and y'all together, like, why she didn't get no food? And then let alone why you getting chili cheese fries without no drink though? I ain't never gonna order no motherfucking chili cheese fries without no drink. You gotta have a drink to polish that off. But I don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, some people are advocates for this shit to be an open and shut case, and I could see it. I could get it. I get where they're coming from, but I don't know if I can agree 100. My intuition feels a little differently. It's crazy that instead of the 60s protecting the treasure they had in Nip, who was all trying to bring all these people up. They let Big U get away with all this. See, I mean, I agree with you, but I don't know if this is Big U. You know what I mean? I don't know if Big U had a hand in it, even though he did stand the motherfucking benefit with the proceeds of victory lap. You know, being that he had the motherfucking signed deal to a degree, but clearly was some jealousy right there. Clearly to knock Nip off though. You feel me? To knock him off. I mean, right? She said, "You're not doing a drive-by by my car," even giving her the benefit of the doubt. After the drop-off, she continues to hate him. What? Yeah. P&B Rock killer, right? Old girl, the mom, she done got stretched. She got a whole motherfucking, they didn't give her no immunity, but Nip and her being able to help paint the narrative and paint the story along with Eric Holder. You see, like we just seen with the shit with Alex Alonso, the little interview that he was just talking about, right? She didn't bring up the motherfucking issue about the, you know what I mean, there being kind of a confrontation between Nip and motherfucking Eric Holder until questioned by the prosecution. She tried to play off that whole little video right there, in my opinion, right there. But you know what I mean, the prosecution was on her about that shit. So, you know, once again, we have proof that Eric Holder had, in her eyes, from what she heard in 50 some seconds, that he asked Nip about him snitching, and Nip was agitated. He was like, he wanted to get away from him, and she could pick up on that. But yet Cowboy, and now Rempaw is another piece of the equation. You can think Rempaw be getting paid right now, right? Even Alex said in the video, he's like, we still ain't heard from. You think Rempaw would have been cashed in on this shit like Cowboy, right? He would have been. He quiet than a motherfucker. And I looked at his little social media the other day, and I seen he just posted some birthday shit. So he alive. He's still out there and shit. But he don't be doing no interviews. And supposedly he had a thing on him the whole time too. And he took off running. You know what I mean? So yeah, cold degree for Nip though. R.I.P. to Nip though. They was treating her as a witness is crazy. She got a full ride out the gate. Like I ain't never seen no shit like that. Yeah, that's the thing though. In a high profile case, conveniently, she got the motherfucking immunity. And she able to go on with her life. You know what I mean? She was cooperative. Story got up on there and motherfucking, you know, shit, here we are. And now I got all her transcripts. So Alex sent me all her motherfucking transcripts. I ain't had time. That shit is so much. That's just like 50 some pages of motherfucking shit. I ain't even read that shit, but I've seen this little video the other day. I thought it'd be good to piggyback on it, but you know, shit, this shit getting late. I've been up on this motherfucker way long right here. So, you know, hopefully y'all enjoyed the little you know, breakdown of this little shit right here. I appreciate all 43 of y'all, everybody that's been up in this motherfucker rocking with me. I surely appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that's tapped in. You know, if y'all didn't watch the video, man, show your boys some love and hit that like button. Let me get up in that algorithm. Let me get up out there with this video right here because we can shine a little bit of light. You know, I'm always open to debate this shit. I hope motherfuckers see this shit that want to debate this shit. Let's motherfucking debate it. I'm game for a good debate any motherfucking day. Let me know. You feel me? But I appreciate everybody that done tapped in and rock with me all this time right here. That's love. I appreciate y'all for real. Preservation of life for Rampart. It could be. That might be it. Maybe he don't want to have his hand in it. But he knows some shit though. He a piece of the equation though, right? He know what really went on though. He's sitting back peeping. He know what's being said is accurate or not though. But I think you're right though, Gold Digger. Yeah, preservation like a motherfucker. She conveniently opens and shuts the case. It's so sus though. Yeah. Facts. I'm all on the same thing. I'm wondering if the red shirt and the two things were picked up wherever they stopped for about 2 minutes. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this right here for a minute too, and it's surprising that nobody picks up on this. Even Alex, he don't even bat an eye at this. When I was talking to him, I was like, "What about them?" Nobody bats an eye at that conversation that they had or who he stopped by. None of that shit, and nobody questions the fourth person that was in that circle when they were having that conversation. He don't get brought up at all. He took off running, but there was another person in that group that heard that conversation. Never been named. Now Cowboy say he don't know, he can't remember the name. We know that's a motherfucking blatant lie. He just don't want to bring the motherfucker up in the mix. And I ain't mad at him though. You feel me? I ain't mad at him. But yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you everybody that's been in here. I appreciate it. It was a dope little live. We done touched on some good little points, went over some videos. Y'all got some recommendations for some reaction videos, let me know. I'm gonna be doing these motherfucking lives a lot more though. You see, I got my little setup and shit now, so we in this one right here. But I'm gonna call it a night. I hope y'all have a good night, good rest of your day tomorrow. I'm out.